Hoi An Ancient Town is one of the most loved destinations in Asia. People come for the lanterns, the river, the old yellow streets, and the feeling of stepping into another era. But as more visitors arrive each year, another question quietly follows. Has Hoi An Old Town become too touristy? Not ruined, not lost, but changed in a way that makes some travelers hesitate. When travelers say a place feels too touristy, they usually do not mean tourists are the problem. They often mean something subtler. That local life feels harder to see. That too many experiences feel designed to be sold. That noise can begin to replace the atmosphere people came for. That a place begins performing itself instead of simply being itself. And in famous destinations around the world, this happens more often than people think. In Hoi An, that feeling is easiest to understand in the evening. The old town is physically small, which means crowds concentrate quickly. A few streets carry most of the attention. Lantern light competes with music. Shops repeat similar products. Large groups move through narrow lanes at the same hour. What should feel charming can sometimes feel crowded. What should feel atmospheric can sometimes feel loud. For travelers who came searching for calm beauty, that contrast can be disappointing. And yet, that crowded version is only one version of Hoi An. Many visitors experience only the busiest streets at the busiest hours and naturally assume that version represents the whole town. But Hoi An extends far beyond those moments. It moves differently, depending on when and where you step into it. At dawn, the markets begin to fill as locals arrive early to buy fresh ingredients for the day, vegetables, fish, herbs, still carrying the cool of the morning. On the town's small streets, the day begins simply. People walk or cycle for exercise, others head to the market, and by 6:30 or 7, everything starts to shift. Children riding to school, parents on motorbikes, the steady rhythm of daily life taking over. Much of it is not performed for visitors. It is simply part of everyday life. Across the river, neighborhoods wake without cameras. Beyond the old town, rice fields, vegetable villages, craft communities, and local neighborhoods still move at a slower rhythm, even as tourism gradually reaches them too. Sometimes people say Hoi An has lost its soul. Part of that feeling is real. As more historic houses become cafes, shops, rentals, or short-term businesses, fewer local families continue living full-time inside the old town itself. And when everyday life slowly disappears from a historic center, part of its spirit inevitably becomes harder to hold on to. And once a historic center becomes economically shaped around tourism, reversing that process is far more difficult than many people imagine. Places change. Property values change. The lives built around them change too. But the story is more complicated than it first seems. Hoi An was shaped by movement long before modern tourism. This was once an international trading port where merchants, sailors, and travelers from many cultures arrived, exchanged goods, and left traces behind. Trade has always been part of life here. And tourism has also helped preserve many things people now come to admire. Historic homes remain standing partly because tourism creates economic reasons to maintain them. Some traditional crafts continue because there are still visitors willing to value and support them. And behind that preservation are many local livelihoods tied to this town. That does not mean everything is balanced perfectly, but it does mean the question is not whether tourism belongs here, only whether enough of the town's living spirit can survive alongside it. So, has Hoi An Old Town become too touristy? In some moments, yes. In some streets, yes. At some hours, absolutely. If you arrive only at peak time, stay only in the busiest zone, and leave quickly, you may reasonably think Hoi An has become a stage set for tourism. But the busiest version of a place is not always its most complete one. Come a little earlier or stay overnight if you can. Walk a bit farther, cross the river, or take a bicycle and move at a slower pace. Return when the town is quieter, and you may begin to see a different side of it. And with that shift, you may realize Hoi An has not become somewhere else entirely, Part of its soul may have faded inside the busiest streets, but part of it still survives, quietly, imperfectly, and often just beyond the crowds. Hoi An has changed. Anyone can see that. There are more lights, more noise, more visitors, and more commerce than before. But change does not always mean loss. Some places fade when popularity arrives. Others bend, adapt, and still carry something essential within them. Hoi An is one of those places. Its essence hasn't disappeared completely. It lingers in early mornings, in quiet side lanes, in family routines, in old hands still at work, and in the quiet human warmth that stays with you long after you leave. Maybe Hoi An is not exactly the place it once was, but perhaps no place can remain truly alive if it never changes with time.